Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and give you all a demo of our Western Massachusetts Parcel Explorer tool. So like Ellen mentioned, this is a tool that we created that helps you identify parcels of land across the entirety of the four-county Western Mass region, based on a wide variety of characteristics that we've summarized down to the parcel level. So as Ellen mentioned, we have parcel data spanning 8 broad categories. You can see those listed here with a high level of detail available within those categories for you to filter on. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump into a practical example of how someone might use the Western Massachusetts Parcel Explorer. So let's say your organization is administering a program supporting ADU development, and you want to find parcels that may be a good fit for ADUs. So we could apply a couple filters that help us narrow from our 300 plus thousand parcels to to a smaller subset of parcels that might be more appropriate for ADU development. So we're looking for single family homes or parcels that only contain a single family home, and they might be on the larger side. So we're going to say they have a minimum acreage of 1 acre. So we don't want any really small parcels. We want larger parcels. Next, we also want to make sure we're looking at parcels where the structure, so the building itself, the building footprint doesn't take up more than, let's say, half of the parcel. So in this site composition filter, these 0 to 100% boxes, you can change. These are informed based on the land use land cover data set. So if you want parcels where the structure has no more than, it takes up no more than 50% of the parcel, we can input that there, and we can see how that updates on our Explorer. So this is 3, sorry, my camera is a little messed up. Sorry about that. These are just 3 different filters that we can apply. So what we can see here is if we go to any one of these records, if we click on the record, it's going to take us straight to the municipality, straight to that parcel, and you can see here some information about the parcel that we selected. So 55 Apple Orchard Heights in Westfield. It has 1.41 acres. It's a relatively large parcel. You can see the building footprint here. It's relatively small, so it definitely doesn't take up more than half of the parcel. And it's a single family home. We can see the use description here is a single family home. But let's say we want to tailor our search to something that's a little bit more specific. So maybe we want parcels that are only near transit. So first, one thing I'm going to enable is these 2 checkboxes in the transit access section to show RTA bus stops and bus routes. And then let's say we want parcels that are within a half mile of transit. So if I click this, the query is going to run again. And what we'll see is a smaller subset of parcels selected. So if I select any of these, say 3 Vine Street in Stockbridge, here's what we'll see. So here again is the parcel that we selected. It's 1.47 acres, relatively large, so it fits our criteria. We can see right here the building footprint is relatively small, so there might be space for an ADU. And then as we specified, it's near transit. So here's the transit route and transit stop. There's more things that we can add here. So maybe we want to filter our search just to a specific county. Let's say maybe we're just looking at Hampton County. And maybe we're also interested in identifying parcels in areas where there are more renters, that might be a better fit for our program. So in that case, we're going to go over to the neighborhood demographics section, and we have this percent renters by census tract, percent recent movers by census tract. In the renters by census tract, let's say we want parcels that are within census tracts that have more than 30% renters. So we can see our search updated again. It's all within Hampton County. You can see the communities that they're falling in. So a lot in Springfield, West Springfield, Agawam, Chicopee, and so on. If we click on some of these, here's some of the information that we're getting. So here's a parcel, here's a couple parcels, again, all near transit. They fit all the characteristics that we are identifying in our filters. If we're satisfied with this search, so all of these filters apply to the data set of over 300,000 parcels in Western Massachusetts, left us with 219 parcels that fit all of the characteristics that we're interested in. From here, we could go ahead and export our selection if we want. So what I would do here is we have this download selection button. It opens up a little download window. And from actions, we go to export, and then we can export in a wide variety of formats. So you can export a spreadsheet, and you can also export the data, preserving the spatial data. So if you're a GIS user, you can make sure you can put this on your own map. So let's say we just want to get a CSV out of this. The export is going to run. And once that's done, here is the list of parcels that we've identified. So we have site addresses, we have loc IDs, and we have use descriptions in the cities of all the parcels that we've identified in our search. So that's really just one way that you can use the site. We have a lot of different filters in here that go into a lot more information. A couple more that I'll highlight are in the site consideration section. We can filter on whether or not a parcel has water service or sewer service, whether they're in a historic district or if the parcel contains a historic structure, and whether or not they are within a brownfield. Again, there's a lot more filtering you can do on the site composition. So we can filter on open space, for example, water and wetlands, impervious surface, natural land, and then combinations of some categories that we thought might be a good fit for these filters. So that is just a practical example of using this tool. And then a couple more things that I'll point out at this stage. As you're using this, we've also included two things to help you get started. One is this widget to walk you through using the tool. So if you're ever stuck, you can check out this Help Getting Started widget. It'll give you some examples of how to set different filters and use the tool. And finally, I'll also mention we've included this data dictionary button that takes you to our detailed data dictionary. So you might see here, we have a lot of different columns in our data table, and the underlying data has even more columns. So we've included this data dictionary that tells you, first of all, what the names of each column corresponds to if you need a little bit more information, the data source that we downloaded from, a link to the data source, and then when that data was pulled. So this, in a lot of ways, it's important to mention that this site is sort of a point in time capture of all of these data sources. It's not perfectly up to date. Some data sources are a little bit more out of date, some are a bit more recent. So this is an important resource to check if you are interested, where our data is coming from. And then when you're done, you can always reset the site and start from scratch and do a new query.